Oh, hello, everybody. We're back again. It's like our second regular public live in 2 days, 3 days. It's like more lives than we've done in months.
Hey, Linda.
Um, hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm gonna give everybody a minute because you know, hopefully some of you are getting some ads. It's always a good thing. Anna, the deal was quietly. Anna's playing in her little alcove in her room. Um yeah, so we're going to talk about the hurricane. We're going to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about real quick before we get on a sub live. We'll update everybody cuz I know people are asking where we are and what's going on and if we're okay and if we're safe and all that good stuff. So we appreciate everybody's concern for sure. Thank you guys for checking in on us to see how we are and where we are and all that good stuff. There are definitely a lot of people to be concerned about right now. We are not them. We are not the people to be concerned about. There are still people in the path of this monstrosity. But I want to talk to you guys about it because as we've been in Florida now for, I've not been here my whole life or anything, but I'm the type of person, you guys know, if you know me, that I firmly believe knowledge is power. And when we moved down here to Florida, I was very nervous and scared about hurricanes. I grew up in Michigan where we had to be concerned about tornadoes. And the thing that I've come to learn since we've lived in Florida is that tornadoes can be in some ways more of a concern than hurricanes. I am still more nervous about tornadoes than I am about hurricanes. And the reason why I say that is because I have now had a few years to learn about hurricanes and learn how they work and kind of understand what's going on better. And plus I don't live on the coast. So that's a big part of it. Like if I lived on the coast or within like 20 minutes of the coast, I would definitely be far more nervous about hurricanes. So, but the big difference between the two is that with hurricanes, while you have to worry about your property and your home and everything, you typically have time to get out of the way of a hurricane. Tornadoes are very quick, very bam, right? Like you don't, they hit and then they're gone. And then you're like, what the heck just happened? So there's definitely a difference between the two different types of storms, but they're both devastating. They're both destructive. They're both scary. They're both very dangerous. And they both really screw up people's lives, as we have seen very recently with Helene. So now we've got this Milton coming in, and so everybody's, concerned. Are you guys okay? Are you going to be okay? We are good. Let me just start by saying we are safe. We are not in the path of this hurricane. Funny enough, I guess it's not that funny because it's hurricane season. So these things tend to happen around this time, which is why we have a hurricane season. But funny enough, we were here for Anna's treatment when Hurricane Ian came through a couple years ago. And so we also were safe during Ian. There were some banding storms, some spin-off storms that kind of come out in front of a hurricane that we got down in this area, and some tornado warnings, but nothing, didn't even lose power. So back in Orlando, where our house is, we did lose power for Ian, and we had some water damage and we had some screens damaged on the lanai, but still nothing like what they get on the coast for the hurricane. So I have some pictures I'd like to share with you guys and just talk to you real quick. Like I said, I truly believe that knowledge is power. And so I just want to share with you guys some of the knowledge I have about hurricanes. So maybe it'll help some of you understand better how they work and what's going on, and where the people are that we need to be concerned about and stuff like that. So this is a picture I took, a screenshot that I took with my from my radar, my weather radar on my cell phone. And I've put some marks on there you can see. And basically what I've done is, so you can see Milton down there in the lower left corner, good times, building strength. I think last I saw from the person I follow, his name is Dennis Phillips. He's out of Tampa. I think he's by far the best meteorologist in Florida. And if you ever want to know what's going on with hurricanes in Florida, I highly recommend following Dennis Phillips. He is very down to earth. He does not sensationalize. He does not overblow things. He's been doing it for decades. He's very knowledgeable. He explains things well. And most importantly, he stays calm. He doesn't freak out. So, and he encourages everyone watching not to freak out. So this is Hurricane Milton down here. It is still building strength. It was at 180 mile an hour winds, which we don't even really at this point have a measurement for. The highest category hurricane that we kind of label at this point is a category 5, which it just is anything over 156 mile an hour winds. If it gets up above 155, it's a category 5. But honestly, if you look at the difference between the wind in the lower levels, category 1, category 2, category 3, as it goes up, once now we're at 180 and it's still building strength. If we had a category 6, I think it would be classified as 1, but we just don't have that classification at this point. So this is a crazy strong hurricane. The last update that Dennis put up, he said, I'll read it to you. He said, scary. No other way to describe it. This is the second to last. I apologize. He updated the winds after this, but he says, scary, no other way to describe it. Winds of 175 miles an hour. Still, the forecast of weakening as it approaches our coastline remains intact. Without getting too sciencey, Milton will go through ERCs, or eye wall replacement cycles. This will cause fluctuations in strength. As the storm approaches, it will run into a 35 to 40 mile per hour wind shear. That will weaken it. How much? I'd say a couple categories. Remember, this is a very small storm. Hurricane winds only extend about 25 miles. Yes, it will get larger, but the worst of the wind will be in a very small area. Unfortunately, that area is likely to be in our area. He's in Tampa. And again, surge is still a huge threat. So if you look at my little markups here, you can see this is the projected path of the hurricane, the white arrow. It's confusing when you look at the news because they give you that entire cone. And so you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take out the whole eastern side of the state. No, that's just like the area where they say it can go. Like, it's not going to go higher than that. It's not going to go lower than that. It's going to be somewhere in that area, but it doesn't mean it's going to hit that whole area. If you look at these blue little stripies up here, that's like the jet stream and the wind shear. And what that is basically this fast moving wind comes in and hits the hurricane at the top. It kind of pushes it sideways and it skews it. So the hurricane, in order to have strength and keep building strength, it really needs to have this shape. It needs to be a cylindrical column going straight up from the water. And it takes all of that warm water from the ocean and it sucks it up. And that's what builds strength. The fact that our oceans are warming and they're warmer than they should be or they have been is what is making these hurricanes crazy, stronger and more frequent and more dangerous than they have been. But it needs to be vertical. So when the wind shear comes across and hits it at the top, it skews it. And when the hurricane skews at an angle like that, it can't build the strength as well. So that's why they're saying this wind shear coming in and hitting it is going to lower the strength of it, because it's going to kind of knock it around as it's coming in the Gulf, as it's approaching Florida. They're expecting it to go down in strength. So while it may be a category 5 coming in, they would expect it to go down about 2 categories. So hopefully it'll get back down to a 3. Maybe it'll be a category 4. That's still a pretty crazy hurricane. No one is saying it's not. But that's like kind of the best we can hope for at this point, is that it reduces strength as it comes in, because it's happening. No one can stop it. Going back to this little graph that I drew up. So as Dennis said, the hurricane, the eye, like the size of the hurricane itself, not just the eye, but the size of the storm is pretty small compared to some other ones. So yes, it's going to plow into the Gulf side coast. Yes, it's going to be destructive and devastating and catastrophic for the area that it hits. But as Dennis said, you can expect that to be like a 30-mile area, like it's going to be like contained within there. It's not going to reach all the way down to south of Sarasota. It's not going to be all the way up into the Bend where it went up last week when Helene came through. And then the red area, that's the area that's going to see a lot of the storms and the wind. They won't get the storm surge, because the storm surge only comes in about 20, like, I don't know how many, I want to say like maybe 10 minutes from the coast is all, like once you're inland, you don't have to worry about the storm surge, like the 12-foot, water that comes in and fills up your house. Like that happens on the coast. That doesn't happen to people who are like inland. But then the people inland get the storms and the wind, the crazy wind, and the rain and the rain and the rain and the rain, which causes flooding, right? And then if you go out to that yellow area, that's like just kind of thunderstorms and rain and lower level wind. That's what's going to hit Orlando, where our house is. And then you get out into that green area, and now you're just looking at thunderstorms, basically, like, our typical kind of thunderstorms that we see here in Florida. I'm going to show you a different image that I have here. This one kind of gives you guys an idea of where we are, so you can see how far away from this we are. This red circle, those are like the areas you need to be concerned about. Loved ones, people who are in that Tampa Bay area, Sarasota, up into Spring Hill. It's going to hit somewhere in there. So those are the people along that coastline. Those are the folks that you need to be like really concerned about, because those are the ones who are going to be dealing with the storm surge. Those are the ones who are going to be getting the bulk of those winds. As we get over here into Orlando, this yellow circle, that's where our home is in Florida. Yes, we still have that home. We are still responsible for that home. And that's where we're going to be going back after we're done here. But they're just going to get a lot of wind and rain. Like we might have, like I said, some screen damage. Maybe, people could get flooding because of all the rain. We could get some water damage in the house. We could get, I suppose, maybe even like shingles off the roof if it's sustained wind. It has to be like really sustained, not just wind gusts. But that's the kind of stuff that we'll see up at the house in Orlando. Loss of power, absolutely. I fully expect that the power will be out for a few days. But we're way down here in this green circle. We're way down in West Palm Beach right now for Anna's medical care. So we are like completely out of the cone. We're only looking at tropical storm force winds and rain. We are completely safe where we are. Power maybe could go out, but even if it does, like the facility that we're staying at is on the hospital property. So we're on the hospital power grid. So it's going to be the first thing to be restored if we do lose power. So we won't even lose power for very long here if we lose power at all. Back at the house in Orlando, we actually drove up there. We spent 7-8 hours yesterday driving up to the house in Orlando and back yesterday because I had to batten down the hatches. We had all this stuff on the lanai had to be brought in, had to be tied down. Everything had to be sealed up. We kind of like checked around, you know, got the last few things. I actually grabbed my shots that are kept in the fridge and Aaron's eye drops that are kept in the fridge because, like I said, I fully expect that the house in Orlando will lose power, and those things those medications need to be kept cold. So we grabbed our cold meds. We closed everything up. Yeah, Charlotte, if there's any damage to the house, we would be responsible for that. Yes, unless it's like homeowners insurance type damage, but damage to things like the screens on the lanai, we're responsible for that. So yeah, the house in Orlando, it's going to be okay. It's just, you know, there might be some
Might get a little roughed up.
Yeah, it might get a little roughed up, but it's not going to be like anything devastating. But the biggest thing is that there probably won't be power. And so we're happy to stay down here a little longer where we will have power and we don't have to worry about it. And then we'll go back after everything blows through. Let me see what else I have to show you guys. This is one of Dennis's. This is a screenshot from Dennis's weather report stuff. This kind of just shows you, see what I was talking about, where they show you that track, that kind of cone. And some people look at this and they go, oh my God, that's going to hit a category 3, that whole side of the state.
The whole state.
But it's not. It's not. This is just the range. This white area is where it could possibly go. Like this is like within a reasonable doubt. They know that it's going to stay within that white area. It's not going to go outside. It's not going to suddenly turn and go crazy and hit Miami. Like it's going to stay most, like not 100%, but like, you know, some degree of 90% certainty. It's going to stay within that white area. So that's why they show you the white area, because you can see like where it could potentially go. And you can see here it's a category 5 and they're hoping that it will go down to a 3 before it hits. And then by the time it comes out the other side, it's going to be a 1. So, and you can see the wind there. It'll be hitting with like 125 mile an hour winds, which, I mean, that's no joke, right? Like it's nothing to sneeze at for sure. Let me see what else I have for you guys. Here's another one just for folks who are wondering about like loved ones or, you know, who is in the direct path of all of this. You can see here the hurricane warning area that Florida has set. Again, most of the worst of it would be right on the coast and within like 20 minutes of the coast. And then as you get more and more inland, it becomes just some really nasty storms with some really bad wind and possibly lots and lots and lots of rain, because this thing is moving kind of slow. And like the slower it moves, the more flooding you get because it dumps so much rain. And then here, just real quick to show you these, they often show these on the weather channels too. These are called the spaghetti models. And this is just, they just kind of have all of these programs, these computer programs that look at the trajectory and the wind and this and that and the other and kind of guess where it's going to go. And then you kind of look at all of these and take the average of all of them. And so these are all of the paths that it's projecting. And this is how they get that cone, that area where they're like, okay, we're pretty sure it's going to stay within that range, because that's pretty much what every computer program we're using is saying. So anyway, I hope that like all helps ease people's mind a little bit about like, you know, how it works and what they can expect and where the worst of it is going to be. We are, again, we're safe. We've got everything that we need. We've got our safe bag with our most important documents, and we've got our medications, and we've got clothes, and we've got, you know, the kids and, you know, Anna and Jameli and we're all together. So we're going to be okay. And the house is as ready for it as it possibly can be. My mom, that's another story. I would definitely welcome some prayers for my mother, because for some reason she's decided to stick it out, and she is over in that red zone. She is actually not very far from the coast. She's probably about 30 minutes in Hernando County, right where they expect it's going to be. And I don't know. I tried for 2 days to get her to leave and be safe. And I tried. I did everything I could to convince her. She's, for some reason, is determined to ride it out. So I am very concerned about my mom. She's not in like so they have the evacuation zones in Florida. The coast is an A, just inside is a B. It keeps going from there, the letters. She's not in, I don't know exactly what zone she's in, but she's not in an A or a B. So I don't think she won't get like storm surge, but she's going to get some crazy wind, and she's got trees in her yard, and she's not in like a brick and mortar, like traditional. I don't know. I can't, Mom, why? I was like, why are you making me, you're going to make me worry for 4 days. Now I'm going to worry about you, but what are you going to do? Some of you have family over there, so you know what I'm talking about. You've got family who are the same way. It's almost like some Floridians, like they look at it like a badge of honor. Like, I'm gonna stick it out and it's gonna be great. My mom's like, I've never lived through a Category 5 hurricane before. We're like,
A lot of people have.
mother, it's not. This is not you don't get a medal for this. Like, come on. So, but anyway, outside of the hurricane, Anna finished up her treatment today, so she got her casts off for the last time. No more casts. We're getting braces now. She's going to get her new braces, so we'll be able to show those off. I'm not telling anything. She's gonna show on the sub live on Wednesday. She'll be showing off her new braces. And I have content to share. I just need to put it together. I've got videos of her Spanish and Mandarin classes I want to share. I've got videos of her doing some crafts stuff that she did that I was really impressed with. Videos of her and the girls, our friends that were here playing. And so I have content that I'm going to keep posting. So you'll see some more short videos and pictures and stories. Definitely remember to check the stories because they're only there for 24 hours. So if you don't see it, you miss it. But I'll put that stuff up over the next few days while we are just hanging out, bedded down, staying safe. I'll get some of that stuff up and going. And then I think when we finally do get back, we'll have the samples of our new merch line, our revamped Kind People Do Beautiful Things. I'm really excited to see that stuff. It's all starting to come in. Hopefully they don't deliver anything outside during a hurricane. And when I get my eyes on it and decide like what I like and what I think is good quality, then we'll get that stuff up and running pretty soon. But until then, I just want to remind everyone that we do have our moving line of merch with 2 really cute designs that Erin drew. There's tumblers and hoodies and tote bags and stuff, and all of the profits from that goes to help us with our move. We are in the process of moving to Michigan. It is a long, drawn-out process because we had to stop in the middle to do Anna's medical care, and I think when we get back, we'll get the last of our stuff loaded up. But every bit of profit from the merch sales right now is really helping us out. So thank you guys. If you want to look into that, if you want to wait until the new Kind People Do Beautiful Things line comes out and get stuff for the holidays, that's cool too. And I got to go now because I have to go do a sub live. And if you want to join us for sub lives, we do them multiple times per week. That's where we do most of our live streaming these days. Otherwise, just keep an eye on the usual places: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube for videos and posts. And I think that's about it. So I will talk to you guys next time. And subs, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you guys. Everybody stay safe out there. Bye.